Hi guys, it's Tammy from Shrinking Violet DS. I'm not dead, I've just been traveling for a little while. It's been quite some time since I came to you. It was Wednesday, May 24th, and today is Wednesday, June 7th. So, sorry, 2 weeks. But I was on a cruise to Alaska with my mother and my aunt. It's something that we do every year, not Alaska, but a cruise. And so it was really fun. It was my first time cruising since surgery, so that was a little different. Anyway, let me do my stats first and then we'll get into other stuff. I had traditional duodenal switch on March 9th of 2016 with Dr. Antonio Esquerra at Mexicali Bariatric in Mexicali, Mexico. I started my pre-op diet on February 19th at 260 pounds. I had my surgery on March 9th at 248 pounds. Last time I came to you was 2 weeks ago on May 24th at 205.6, and today on June 7th I am 200.2 pounds. I'm 5 feet 4 inches, just for reference. So I'm so close to Wonderland I can see it from my backyard, as someone famously once said about something else, and it's just driving me crazy. So close, so close. But frankly, I just consider the fact that I'm still losing and that I lost while I was on vacation a good thing. So my 2-week loss was 5 pounds 4 ounces. So that's not bad. 2.5 pounds a week on average, 2.75 pounds on average, which I still think is just fine. I'm happy to lose a little bit slower. I already say that I look like the saggy baggy elephant from the children's book. So the slower I lose, the more chance my skin has to recover. And I don't look quite so saggy and shrinkly. So the cruise was fun. The eating was not fun because I'm only 3 months, in 2 days, I'll be exactly 3 months out from surgery. And for those of you who have watched my previous videos, you know that I've had a hard time with dense proteins. So it limits my food choices greatly when I go out. And on a cruise, you just don't have as much choice as you would on a land vacation, you know, where you can pick any kind of a restaurant. On a cruise, you're pretty limited. My dense protein consumption is getting better all the time. I actually just last night had steak for the first time, and I just cut it across the grain very thinly and cut it into small pieces and took forever to eat it, and had sauce on it to make sure that it was nice and moist. And I eat mine medium rare to rare anyway, so it's not dry. But that was a first for me last night, so I did actually get some steak in, and I can do the same with chicken breast, but again, it takes me forever, and it has to be very moist or covered in a sauce. On the ship, I ordered salmon, and I asked him to do it medium rare, and it was well done. It was beyond well done and dry as a bone. That I couldn't do. There was no sauce, and it was just too dry. So getting my protein in was tough. I took, oops, my paper just went flying. I took protein shakes with me, Premier Protein. I took an entire box, which is I think 18, and then I took 3 extras, so I would have enough for 3 a day. I only drank half that many, and I know I wasn't getting in my 90 grams of protein a day. And I was supplementing my diet with carbs because I was a little bit hungry and I was wearing down on energy, and I just didn't have enough protein. So I think that's why I didn't lose as much last week. Last week during the cruise, I lost 0.8 pounds. So those other 5 pounds were all the week before. And in the 2 days since, I think I've lost 0.6 pounds. So that's why, because I was supplementing my diet with carbs, which I never do at home. Even in my pureed food stages, I never ate things like they say you can have grits or cream of wheat or mashed potatoes. I never ate that stuff. I always had soft proteins, but it was hard to find soft protein on the ship. You know, there's cottage cheese, but you can only eat so much of that. One day they had liverwurst, and I chowed down on that. That was a good protein day. But other than that, I did eat things like mashed potatoes and gravy because I could get it down, and I knew it wouldn't come back up. A couple of times I made myself sick on the trip, absolutely miserable, because I tried eating their meat and it just didn't work. I was finicky before about the quality of my meat, and I'm even more so now. But I think, you know, next year at this time, when we do this again, I should be eating much more normally, and I think it will be a lot easier to eat on the ship. You know, the drier fish won't bother me so much. The steak, they have a steakhouse on the ships that we go on, and if I can eat steak, I'll do that every single day. That's not a problem for me. Steak and lobster, that's great. It's full of protein, and I can dip it in butter and get all that good fat in there too. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot. My hair is falling out like crazy in handfuls, and that really, it was falling out a little bit before, but that really started last week in earnest, and I think that the lack of protein has something to do with that. So I have stopped washing my hair more than twice a week, and I've started using a dry shampoo by a company called Amika, and it works really well. I had never found a dry shampoo that I liked prior to that, but this one works fantastically, and it looks good the day I put it on. The day after I put it on, it looks even better. So I can easily go, I could probably go an entire week and just wash my hair once a week, which if it keeps falling out like this, I might do, because I just would rather keep as much in there as I can while the other grows. I do use the Rogaine foam. I don't like the foam. I liked the liquid better that came with like a little eyedropper thing that you put on. So I'm gonna look for that again. I was lazy and I ordered the foam off of Amazon, and everybody had loved it, so I thought, oh, that would be good. I don't like it. Mostly because I don't want to put foam on except when I have wet hair. I find it, you know, gross and sticky and nasty, whereas the liquid with the eyedropper, it was easy to put on even when I wasn't washing my hair. I could put it on twice a day, and the foam I end up putting on once a day and only when I wash my hair, so I don't think it's doing that much good. I do take biotin every day, but I'm gonna up that, and I'm gonna start taking this hair, skin, and nail stuff that my mother uses 3 times a day, and her hair is looking great, and she's always had thin hair as well. So that's that. It was fun being on the cruise and being thinner, not necessarily because I wanted to dress any particular way, but being in Alaska, we were pretty active and, you know, doing a lot of walking and a lot of getting in and out of boats and things like that. And I did this exact same cruise 2 years ago with some other family, and this time it was much better, and I could tell a difference in how I felt. I could tell a difference. For example, when we were whale watching, we were in a little small boat, and I could sit on my knees on the bench and look out rather than have to sit kind of sideways on my bum. I could just fold my knees right up underneath me, and before I couldn't do that comfortably. I could do it for a little while and then my legs would start to fall asleep. This time I could do it as long as I wanted to. So that was really nice, and I found that I walk faster, and I'm definitely not as out of breath when I get places. I had to walk about a mile and a half into town one day, and it took me 15 minutes, maybe 20, and I was walking at a really good clip, and I was fine when I got there. I was hot, but I was fine. I wasn't out of breath. I wasn't dying. I didn't need to sit down or have a drink or anything. It was great. I just went on with my day. So that was really nice, and I'm looking forward to more of that. especially now that I'm feeling really good physically, and I'll be moving around more and more. Online on Facebook, some people have been asking about recovery times, people who were thinking of having surgery and how fast you recovered, and all of that. And that got me thinking about my recovery, and I responded to them, and I said, I thought I would be a fast recoverer because that's just how I am. I'm always thinking that I'm going to be, ahead of everything that's expected, because I push myself to be ahead of everything that's expected of me. But your body doesn't really care how much you want to push yourself or how much you want to exceed the expectations. It's going to heal at its own rate, and mine healed at a decidedly average rate. It was not a fast recovery, but it followed the timeline that my surgeon had predicted almost to the day. Gee, I guess they know a little something after all this time. But yeah, so it took me, from the day of surgery, I was pretty much in bed for 2 weeks, except for getting up to walk, to relieve gas pains and to make sure I didn't get blood clots. But, I would get up when I got home. I was in the hospital for 4 nights. When I got home, probably the next 3 nights, I didn't get out of bed hardly at all. The next week, I would get out of bed and sit on the couch and then go back to bed. But the 3rd week, I was out driving and doing light work. And it wasn't until the 5th week that I really felt like, wow, okay, I feel like I'm recovering now. And, my eating wasn't recovering, but my body was feeling a whole lot better. So it does take time. And now at 3 months out, I feel like my body's really, pretty much recovered. My guts still haven't recovered entirely, and I can tell because when I do eat the denser proteins like the chicken breast or the steak from last night, the next day my intestines are a little bit sore. They don't hurt, and it's not even discomfort, but it's awareness of the fact that they've had to do some work and that they're just not quite up to much more than that work yet, or maybe that work was a little bit strenuous for them, not in a bad way, but in a way that makes me aware that, yeah, my guts were completely chopped apart, and some of them were removed and others were put back in places where they've never been before, and my body needs time to recover from that stuff. My mother had foot surgery, and the surgeon said, you'll have swelling for up to 6 months. And with something like foot surgery, you can actually see that swelling and think, oh yeah, I had surgery. You can see the scars, you can see where they cut you and where the pins were and all that kind of thing. With bariatric surgery, especially laparoscopic, you don't see all that. You look down and you see these 5 tiny little lines where it looks like somebody just kind of poked you. And you think, those are nothing. Why am I taking so long to recover when all I've got are these teensy little incisions? That shouldn't take very long. And what you forget is that inside of those teensy little incisions, you've been chopped up and mixed up and put back together, and they're not teensy little incisions in there. If we could see the scars that are left on our stomachs, our sleeves, and on our intestines, we'd be like, whoa, can't believe I've recovered this well this fast. So it's just something that I have to remind myself, and probably I would imagine others do too. I don't know, maybe you guys aren't as hard on yourself as I am. So yeah, I guess that's it. I will be home for pretty much the rest of the summer, I think. Little trips here and there, but I should be much better about updating regularly. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. I see that there are a few new DS vloggers out there, and I think that's fantastic. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you. And for my new followers, thank you. I'm really thrilled to have more people watching, and so that I know that I'm not just speaking into the void, and there is actually a purpose and a usefulness to my doing these videos. Anyway, you guys have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.